Hi, thank you for joining me. I'm Lunarcraft and I'm doing the weekly AstroTarot predictions. Welcome, Sagittarius. You're under my spotlight. I'm Lunarcraft and I'm here with the weekly AstroTarot presentation. Starting with general astrological information, moving on to anything that is more specifically for you, Sagittarius, and then finally pulling out 3 tarot cards for you. Now, I'm going to start with just a little bit of a reminder that relationships of all kinds are the focus at the moment, particularly in as much as they are going to receive an overhaul. That is because Venus has now moved into her retrograde movement, which intensifies her energies, but it could actually turn out to be a blessing in disguise, but a little bit more on that in a moment. All I'm asking is that you be patient, you trust the energies that are flowing, and that you put the work into the relationships. If you do that, then the goddess, Venus, will reward you accordingly. Now, mix to that, if you will, the arrival of Pluto. Pluto, the planet of change and transformation. And he is teaming up with Venus. And this is where the blessing in disguise comes in. Because by combining their energies, it could well result in forming a match made in heaven, quite literally. So, all good stuff, I think. Now, what's here for Sagittarius? I'm just looking down through my notes. Right. First off, your financial situation could well improve, and quite rapidly, particularly if you've negotiated a pay rise or a bonus. Now, just a word of warning, particularly important for this particular week. Watch how much you eat, watch how much you drink. That is because your digestive system could be a little bit temperamental maybe. So just take it easy. Still have fun, but don't overindulge. Another indication for you, not for this week, but you can set wheels in motion, is there is great potential for you to change where you live. I mean, move to a different location. It'll be spacious and it's likely to be near water. So, as I said, start looking. Now, that wraps it up for the astrological aspects. Now pulling out the 3 cards for you. Let's turn them over, see what's what. Wonderful. Okay, you have got 2 major arcana cards, and 2 that very often fill people with dread. It's not going to happen, okay? The first card to appear is the Devil. And that is urging you not to hold yourself back. If there's things you want to do, then go for it. Give it a try. You won't know till you try. But also, it's asking you to maintain a positive outlook, attitude. Next comes the Tower. Now, this is one of the scariest cards. However, what it's advising is for you to be, how can I put it, adaptable to situations that may change unexpectedly. Also, that there needs to be, metaphorically speaking, probably, a clear out of things that are no longer useful to you. That means physical possessions, it means attitudes, it means behaviors, even thought patterns. That will clear space for new things to move in, for new growth. I can't think of a better expression. And finally, you've got the Seven of Pentacles. Now, the Seven of Pentacles heralds a period of evaluation of your current position. It also prepares for a new phase starting. It also points to you receiving well-deserved payment for a task that you've completed. So, all good stuff. Interesting into the year, interesting week. It's all within your grasp. Hi, welcome Capricorn. Nice of you to join me. I'm Lunarcraft. I'm here with the weekly AstroTarot predictions, readings, whatever. And as usual, I will start with the more general astrological influences, moving on to anything that is particularly for you, Capricorn, and finally looking at 3 tarot cards for you. Okay, I'm going to start with, I suppose it's more of a reminder than anything, but relationships of all kinds are currently in the spotlight, and there could well be some overhaul made to those relationships. Venus currently is on her retrograde path, just started, and it will intensify her energy. Now, that could well turn out to be a blessing in disguise, but more on that in just a moment. What I'm going to ask is that you have faith in the process. Trust that the goddess has got your best interests at heart. And if you're prepared to put the work into the relationships, the goddess, Venus, will reward you. Now, I said I'd come to the blessing in disguise. Pluto is moving in to work in partnership with Venus. Pluto is the planet of change, of transformation. And by working with Venus, the outcome could well be, quite literally, a match made in heaven will be formed. Okay, so it's all good. Now, what are we seeing specifically for you? Right, also, between now and the end of January, you the universe is pushing you to rethink the way that you present yourself and the way that you interact with the outside world. Enjoy the challenge of discovering and presenting a new, improved version of yourself. That's the major things, but just one thing on the financial front, you may feel that you haven't enough money to do justice to New Year's Eve. Hey, think about it. Be creative. There are things you can do that don't cost an awful lot, and it gives you a way to see out the old year and usher in the new one. Okay, now moving on to tarot. Let's just give them a quick shuffle. Oops. Okay. What do we have for you? And 3. There we go. Right, just turning them over. And the first one to be turned over is the King of Pentacles. He presents as being a competent, no-nonsense leader with a very responsible attitude. And once his mind is made up, he will be absolutely resolute and unshakable until that particular project or whatever reaches completion. And I feel that's picking up on your skills, your attributes. In the middle is the 6 of Pentacles. Now, I'll pick up on this in a minute, but you've got 3 Pentacle cards basically. But the 6 of Pentacles is about being generous, not necessarily with money, but you know, your time, your attention can be seen as being a form of generosity. And as I said, you've got a 3rd Pentacle card, which is the 5, and it could well be relating to you maybe neglecting your own needs. Taking care of yourself is not in any way selfish. If you think about a glass that is full, that can be shared around. However, if the glass is allowed to be empty, there's nothing to give. And this is why it's so important for you to look after yourself. Now, I was going to pick up just very quickly about you having had the 3 Pentacles. It means that you have a connection with the rest of the world, and that you have your own personal boundaries. And it's important that you protect those boundaries in order to protect your own energy. Okay. So, a thoughtful week for you, but not a bad week, Capricorn. Hi, Aquarius. Lovely that you can join me. I'm Lunarcraft, and I'm here with the week's AstroTarot, and I'm going to kick straight off with the astrological influences, more general, and then I'll move on to some that pertain particularly to yourself. And I'm starting more or less with a bit of a reminder, because I know we've mentioned this before, but between now and the end of January, relationships of all sorts are going to be the main focus. And those relationships are going to go through something of an overhaul. That is because Venus has now moved onto a retrograde path, which intensifies her energies. But it could ultimately turn out to be a blessing in disguise. But more on that in just a moment. What I'm going to ask is that you trust the process, trust the energies. And if you are prepared to put the work into the relationships around you, the goddess, Venus, will reward you accordingly. Now, picking up on this disguised blessing, Pluto, the planet of transformation, of change, is moving in to work with Venus. And with their joint energies, quite literally, it could result in a match made in heaven. So, good stuff. Now, let's have a look at my notes, make sure that I don't miss anything important. Right, Jupiter, the planet of plenty, is known as. He will be moving out of your sign just before the end of this year, but it has the potential to bring you an unexpected gift, and that gift will bring a smile to your face. Also, enjoy the festive period. You deserve it. You've worked hard this year, so go for it. And others may well come forward to you to share with you their plans, their dreams for the future. And try not to show disapproval, because if they feel that you are giving your approval, it will contribute to their overall success. Okay, let's have a look at the tarot cards. And 3 coming up. 1 and 4. And last one, third one. Right, let's turn these over, see what we've got. Okay, we start off with the 4 of Wands. That is one of the celebration cards in the tarot deck, and it probably reflects you feeling proud of your achievements over the past year, and that you will also feel a feeling of freedom of spirit. So, good stuff. In the middle, we've got the 2 of Cups, and that is indicating a harmonious atmosphere around you that encourages others to cooperate with you. A bond is being formed, and it could well have a healing effect for both of you. Now, finally, we've got the Knight of Cups. And he is here to remind you that you can be prone to having imaginative but often unrealistic dreams. But hey, that's okay, because aspiration has to come from somewhere. And that somewhere are the initial thoughts. Allows you to set your intentions. Okay, so that's it for this week, Aquarius. I will be back next week. I'll be doing a longer presentation looking at the headlines for 2022, and I really hope you can join me. Hi, Pisces. Lovely that you've come to join me. I'm Lunarcraft, and I'm here with the weekly AstroTarot. And as always, I'll be starting with things of a general nature, then moving on to look at anything that applies specifically to you, and finally doing a 3-card reading for you. So, starting with a bit of a reminder, I suppose, but until the end of January, relationships of all kinds are in focus. And it's probable that they will go through some form of overhaul. Now, Venus is currently in retrograde movement, which means her energies are amplified. But that could well prove to be a blessing in disguise. But a little bit more on that in a moment. For now, though, I'm going to ask that you trust the process, trust the energies that are flowing, and that you're prepared to put some work into relationships. If you do that, you will be rewarded by the goddess, by Venus. Now, picking up on this blessing in disguise, Pluto, the planet of change, of transformation, is moving into your, is joining up with Venus. And the outcome could well be the formation of a match made in heaven. So, all good stuff. Now, moving on to things for you. Jupiter. Jupiter is your planet and moves into your sign just before the end of this year. But what it has is the potential for 2022 not only to start well, but to give you the best year yet. So look forward to that. Now, there are also strong indications that you could be leaving your home for one that will be much more spacious, much better suited to your needs. Also, just be careful when using social media. Think before you hit the send button, especially if your response is quite fiery. Okay? Just think. That's all I'm asking. Right. Okay. Everything is looking really positive for you, Pisces. There are times when I wish I could be you, only because you're going to have such a brilliant year. Anyway, I've drawn 3 cards for you. Oh, and they all point to this really positive period that's starting up for you. Starting with the Magician, who is urging you to discover and aim for your full potential. You have all the tools that you need. You have all the knowledge that you need to create the future that you want for yourself. Believe in yourself and go for it. Maintain the focus on your goals. In the middle, we've got the 8 of Wands. Now, when I pull this in a reading, I generally suggest that people hold on to their hats because we're in for a really rapid ride. Things are really, really going to take off for you, Pisces. I can't emphasize enough. You've heard of the age of Aquarius. Now we're moving into the age of Pisces. And it will happen very quickly. And once they start happening, the momentum will pick up. So there are times when you'll feel that you're not in control. Trust yourself. Trust the universe. It's all good. And finally, the Ace of Swords. And that shows that you will realize the way to move forward. And you will probably use the fact that you already have at your disposal, or along with logical thought. And together, all 3 cards indicate big changes happening quickly. But if you carry out sufficient preparation, i.e., setting your wishes, your intentions, your goals, you will be able to maintain control. Not necessarily the speed, but control. Believe in yourself. Trust the process. And wow, lucky, lucky, lucky Pisces. Okay, that's it for this week. I will be back next week with an extended presentation giving the headlines for each star sign throughout 2022. I hope you'll be able to join me, but in the meantime, have a fabulous week and I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Right.